Jen here with layout number 2 for the Build-A-Page series. So this is my second kit that I put together, page kit, and I'm putting the layout together now. So it's kind of fun. I put them all together and then all I can think about is what I'm going to create with them. So I love this part. I love building the kits, but I really love using the kits. So for today's layout, I posted at the beginning of the video what the sketch is for today for 30 Days of Sketches. That's the series that Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life has put together. It is now series 10, if you can believe it. And all of the sketches are exclusive to 30 days. So that's the only place you're going to find them. It's definitely worth checking it out. All the links are down below. And so in the back of my mind, when I was putting this kit together, I kind of was thinking about what the sketch was. I think at one point I was even like, could I do flowers? Yes, I'm going to go ahead and do the flowers because obviously when you see a sketch like that where, I forgot to tell you, Jen Miller is the creator of the sketch. So Jen used flowers in her sketch, but really those represent embellishment. And so you don't necessarily have to follow that to a T, but in this case, I decided to go ahead and do that. I also pulled out the piece of paper that you see beside me, the scraps of paper, because it has paper strips, and I know that there are paper strips in the sketch, or I knew at the time that there were paper strips in the sketch. But that's kind of where the inspiration ends. So I definitely had every intention of following it a little bit more closely. I even at one point had 2 photos pulled out because I thought maybe I wouldn't do the 3 smaller photos, but maybe 2 photos in each of the corners. And then I decided to only do the 1 picture, and then I decided to tear the edges of that vellum paper that I have. That was kind of a goal of mine, was to get that used up. So it was sort of the first thing I thought to do was use the whole paper. But I did rip up the edges and kind of bent them and just gave them a lot of like texture and dimension. And once I did that and put it down, I thought, I don't really want to go now and maybe cover up some of that by putting my pictures in either corners. So I'm going right in the middle. I had this piece of paper here. All of this is from Coco Vanilla's Sunkissed, except that vellum piece. It's Dear Lizzie. But I had this piece of scrap right there, the wood grain piece, and I thought if I start cutting that up and making strips out of it, I kind of am just creating more scraps for myself. And this particular layout was born from these scraps that I'm about to use right here. I've carried them over since May. I think that was the first time I put them into a kit, and they've basically been carried over ever since, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to start creating more scraps out of this kit when the whole point was to use up the scraps. So yes, I kind of changed directions and just let the papers take me where they wanted to go. But I definitely wanted to show you that sketch because it was my jumping off point and my inspiration. So I put down that piece of vellum, and I kind of like that it matted the colors in the flowers, but then you see these little spots kind of peeking out around the border, and that's where you get those bright pops of color. And then these scraps of paper from a Fancy Pants 6x6 paper pad are bringing those pops of color into the center, into the photo. The photo is quite bright and colorful as well. It was taken in the summer. The kids are in their bathing suits. We're at the water park or splash pad, whatever you want to call it. And so there's lots of color going on. So it's sort of like the color is all around the edge and then focused right in the center. And this gave me an opportunity to take all those scraps of paper. Some of them were teeny tiny, but they were the only piece of a certain color. And so I didn't want to throw them out. but I needed to find a way, like this piece of light pink, that's the only piece I have. So how do you incorporate such a small piece of scrap into the layout? You do something like this. You just have these kind of wonky layers that you tuck in all over the place. They're really kind of tight. There's just little peaks of each color popping out. So none of them are standing out too much. I got all of the papers in there. Yes, there are a few scraps, like you can see the one with the birds on it that I just put off to the side. It's a larger scrap. The black one, I think the or charcoaly type paper, there's a bit of a larger scrap, but I've used them up now to the point where I am happy. I've completely killed those six how many is it? Yeah, I think 6 pieces of 6x6 papers. That somehow have made it onto like 7 layouts. I don't know how. I didn't intend to stretch them that much, but that's what happened. So now I'm going to say they're officially killed. I still did want to get some paper strips in there because that is what the sketch had. So the rainbow border strip, I guess you could call it, from the cut apart paper, I cut it in half and I just put it on either side of the wood grain paper. And then I also have these little pieces from the cut apart. They're banners and things like that. So I think it says sun-kissed on it. So I thought that worked really good. And I'm going to keep all of the embellishment right in that center part so that you can really take in the flowers because I covered them up with the vellum. The vellum, it's hard to see, but it actually has sort of a copper or rose gold foil flowers on it. So in real life, it looks really, really pretty and not quite as matted or subdued as it looks on camera. The paper in the back actually pops out a lot more than what it looks like here. But I still kind of like the idea of your eye being able to really take in everything that it can of the vellum and those background flowers. So all the embellishment is going to be in this sort of wood grain paper area. I did toy for a second with putting a sticker over on that left-hand side, but I quickly pulled it up. I wanted to keep it all in the center. I ended up being able to use almost all of the stickers. I think there's 2 stickers left. One's sort of like a beachy scene, that circle one that you can see. It's kind of like you're sitting at the beach and there's palm trees and an umbrella and that kind of thing. So I didn't really think it fit with this particular layout. And then I think I left the rainbow because, again, I didn't feel like the rainbows actually fit. Even though I have that rainbow border strip, I didn't feel like the actual image of a rainbow fit with the layout. So I kind of kept those 2. I used up quite a few of the little words, but not all of them. I saved the ones that were referring to like summer vacation or on vacay, those types of things, because we're not actually on summer vacation in this picture. It happened to just be a hot June day. It was right at the beginning of June, actually. And it was really hot. So the kids are technically still in school. It was just a nice day. So I saved all of those, but there's only a handful of them left. So this sticker sheet is pretty much killed, which is really nice. I love that feeling. I do have a second sticker sheet, this exact same one. I bought a second one because I really liked it and I figured I might want a second one because I have the whole like paper collection kit and I definitely have a lot of papers left. So I did get quite a few of the stickers on here. I got 2 die cuts. I got the little flip-flops and I got the sun, and then the pieces that I cut out of the cut apart sheet. So lots of different embellishments all kind of tucked in. And I love that. I love the opportunities to kind of tuck things in and layer things up. That to me is really fun. And I really don't think this feels too busy either for some reason. I was worried that it might be getting too busy, but I kind of like where this ended up. And so I'm just going to add a couple little puffy stickers just to get that texture in there. I used the sunglasses because we're out in the sun. It's a sunny day. I was kind of going with that whole sunshine vibe for the layout. And then I added a few little hearts. There's a ton of teeny tiny little hearts in these puffy stickers, but I didn't want to use them all up because, again, I still have lots of paper left over. So I just added a couple little ones in there. And then I'm going to add some journaling very, very quickly, just that, we were at the splash park. The second picture that I had put in here that I thought I would do, use the two pictures together, was actually sort of the same pose at the same splash park, but a month later. So I decided not to put them together because I will probably want to split them up somehow in my Project Life album. And so I decided not to do that. I could have it would have been kind of neat if I maybe had a picture that was similar for August, and then I could have done 3 and had like June, July, and August, but I didn't have that. I think it was sort of more coincidence that I had taken 2 very similar pictures about a month apart. I didn't remember I had done it. I don't remember why I was telling you that, other than just to tell you the story of the photo. But yeah, so I added some sequins. Just again, I love that texture. It gives a little bit of glitter. And then I sprinkled some gold Heidi Swapp Color Shine. I don't have a copper, or I do have a rose gold, but it's really more of a copper. So I would have probably sprinkled that if that's what I had. But I love the way that the gold Color Shine sits on vellum. So I was definitely going to add some of those splatters. And there you can see the close-ups a little slower. And that's it. That is my layout. Thank you so much for watching. I will definitely be back again tomorrow. So click subscribe if you haven't already. That way you won't miss it. And I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, happy scrapping. Bye.
Bye. Thanks to me. She button. Tell my channel.